Morning. Today's engine is an ASP 46A two-stroke engine. This is an engine I just recently purchased new in the box from a retailer on eBay. This engine actually came from Portugal. It was the European marketed version, so it's got the European box. I have kind of a long history with this style of this particular engine. This was about the third engine I ever bought way back in 1989, and I loved it then. I flew it on a Great Plains Super Decathlon. It was a great engine then. This one looks like to be a vintage 90s engine due by the style of the engine and the box. This will be the first time it's ever seen fuel, so I haven't touched the idle screw yet, and I haven't opened the needle valve yet either. APC 10.6 prop, brand new OS number 8 glow plug. So let's open this. 1, 2.5 turns. We'll see what that does. Full throttle, prime. So we can take prime quite well. Prime. It blew that first stuff out real quick. Well, it was interesting. I don't do anything by hand. Okay, so it blew through that first tank pretty quick. Obviously, it was still set pretty rich, even though it was tacking at around 9,800 RPM. Had a little bit of an issue trying to get this thing hand started for the first time, or started for the first time actually, which isn't real surprising. I think the instructions indicated to open the needle valve 1.5 turns, and instead I opened it 2.5, which initially, obviously, that was way too much, and the engine just flooded out. Of course, it would never start then, so I closed it up considerably, probably to about the 1.5 point, and that's when I was able to get it to fire. Seems like it'll fire up hand by hand now. Still rough. I mean, the ABC engine like this, you don't want to sit there and run it real super rich. You want to pretty much get it close to the peak RPM right away, so that you can, that's how you break these engines in. So I had it running pretty warm there, it was about 9,800 RPM, which is what I would think would be a good break-in RPM. The next tank, I'm going to let this thing cool down completely, run another tank, maybe crank it up to 10,000, see if it hand starts. I started to adjust the idle a little bit just because it was set way too rich from the factory. It wouldn't even transition at all without dying. So the idle setting was way too rich. But I'll just kind of tweak the idle as I tweak the high-speed needle in conjunction, and hopefully in another tank or two we'll have this thing set up. But it does run. Took a little bit to get it running, but it was because I was flooding the engine initially. So anyway, looks like it'll be a decent runner engine.